So by the title of the video, you guys already know where I'm going with this one, man. So sit tight, get your popcorn ready, because we about to talk about this gun, because we got a little bit of an issue here. So let's go ahead and talk about the AAW and Modern Combat Blackout for the Nintendo Switch.
You know how much I love that Nintendo Switch!
What's going on, Switch fam? It is your boy QKG, and I've really been thinking about doing a video like this because your boy be grinding in this game. Just like a lot of you in the comments section, you guys have been telling me how much you've been grinding, and I've even been getting a lot of comments of people saying, when are you gonna call out these people who are using these auto-aiming weapons? Now, when it comes down to this weapon, I had to kind of dissect this in a way, because whenever it comes to creating a game, you have to have your strengths and weaknesses. That gun is going to have some flaws, but it's going to have some strengths, and it just depends on what those strengths and weaknesses are, of which one seems a little bit more OP, or even the combination. So, first things first with the AAW, this is the first weapon you get in the Sapper class, which has a 100% accuracy, which means if you're aimed on their feet, aimed on their finger, aimed at their shoulder, 100% of your bullets are going to go directly in the middle of their chest, which means you really have to do very little aiming. You don't have to stretch for headshots. You just make sure your crosshair, which is pretty huge, you make sure that circle is somewhat on your enemy, and boom, you have your bullets actually connecting dead center in the chest. And with that strength is going to lead to a weakness. You cannot get headshots with this weapon no matter how much I've tried in game, because it really pained me to use this weapon. You got to really understand, I want the best for communities, and whenever I see stuff that looks like it's going to be a problem, I stay away from it, because I don't want to put it in the atmosphere. But I already knew it was inevitable. Somebody was going to use it, somebody was going to love it, so I knew that it was inevitable. So when it comes to the gun having that type of auto aiming, only stabbing onto the chest, you can't get headshots with the weapon. I even tried to get really close to someone to see if I can barrel stuff with it. It just didn't work. So for the most part, when it comes down to those two things, somebody can see that as being a really strong flaw, because you can't get headshots with the dang thing. Now, with that flaw being said, we have a glaring strength, which is pretty much the guns in the Sapper class, which means not only do you get turrets, but when you level up that class, you actually get the shoulder gun, which is a gun that's mounted on your shoulder, and if you're facing an enemy, it's going to automatically fire off before you even pull the trigger. So if you're in a gunfight and you have enough units built up, you can fire off a nice good 3 shots, and by the time you connect with 1 or 2 bullets, they're automatically dead. So when you combine these two together, it becomes really unfair. It feels like the gunfights it feels like there's no competition. You can use the compact, you can use any weapon you see fit that you enjoy. If you run in this combination, you are just gonna get dumpstered, and that is the unfortunate truth, is that when it comes down to this combination, it can make gunfights feel just flat out unfair. I'm a pretty optimistic person. I don't try to bash certain things. I try to see the positive and negatives of the weapon. I try to see its strengths and weaknesses to see if it's really something that has to be handled. So I know a lot of people don't like this weapon, so I want to give a little bit of constructive criticism, or maybe possible tweaks that could actually happen with the weapon to make it more tolerable, but still keep it to where newer players can actually come into the game and not have to struggle as much. So right off the bat, one thing that they can change is you can increase the reload time. So instead of it reloading as quick as it does, make it reload slower, because it'll make it to where people have to be a little smart with the way they shoot instead of just spraying and just reloading instantly. It can make it to where once your clip is done, unless you strategically mapped out who you're going to shoot, if you didn't do that properly, you would get waxed. So that is one thing that they can change, is just make the reload time a little longer. Make it a little bit longer to give a lot of people some wiggle room, just in case someone aim isn't that good and they can't keep their crosshairs on you. And one thing they can do, certain games have had this issue. If it becomes a real big issue, one thing you could do is, if they want to run the shoulder gun, have it have some type of delay. Not have it shoot as many bullets, or make it really limited to where it can only shoot maybe 1 or 2 rounds instead of it shooting 3, no matter what the units are. It would make it to where, even though everything is pretty much auto aiming for you, it would make it to where the gunfights seem a little bit winnable in a way. Like, you have a chance if the other person has pretty good aim. And the reason why I say nerf the shoulder gun when it comes to that weapon combination is because no matter how much you strafe that shoulder gun, it's going to hit you. And a good tip for anybody who's running into the AAW and they're running into these auto-aiming weapons, if you can out-strafe them, especially with the AAW, they're going to hit or at least miss 50% of their rounds, just because when you're constantly moving like that, if their aim isn't that great, you can actually outgun them. Especially if you're aiming for the head, you can actually get a headshot and outgun them. But when you use the shoulder gun and that combo, I'm pretty sure I have not to this day have not been able to outstrafe or outmove a shoulder gun round. I've always gotten tagged by that thing every single time. So I honestly think either definitely make sure you nerf that combination, or at least make it shoot 1 round, because when it shoots like 2 to 3, that just gets kind of crazy, because then I'm pretty much one shot and I'm gonna die anyway. So definitely, if Game Loft, if any of you guys check these videos out, take some of that into consideration, because a lot of the community, I'm not saying that they hate these combinations, but they could use some tweaks to make it to where it doesn't seem as unfair to other players who are using traditional weapons or just using any other weapon in the game besides those really 2 auto-aiming weapons. So that's all I got to say about the AAW right now. Leave your comments down below. I kind of got a feeling what everyone's going to say. Leave your comments down below on what you feel like they should change about the weapon. I mean, heck, even if you think they should just take it completely out the game, leave your comments down below. Your boy always chops it up with you. And other than that, man, that's going to end it off for this video. All right, Switch fam, I'm going to catch you guys later. This is your boy QKG, and peace out.